Hello and welcome to Chats with Cass. I am your host, Cassandra House, and I really believe that if I can, you can. And on today's show, I want to inspire you to step into your power and go and create the truest, highest, grandest vision you hold for yourself. Now, today on the show, I have a very special guest called Deborah Sawaf, and impacting the world through mental health and through incredible things. So I want to go straight in and ask her all about what she's doing, which I know is going to inspire you to go and create what you love. So Deborah, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm incredibly grateful. And I know that you're just doing big things with a background in fashion and really creating your own brands and really now moving into the power of words movement. I know there's so much that encompasses all that. Just before when we were chatting, it's so inspiring to know. I want to give you full permission to tell the audience what you've created, what you're doing now, and what's really happening in your life.
I love what I do. And I think that's part of finding your purpose is, waking up every day and excited to go back to what we call our job, but it's a passion. And I was born in a little suburb of Bombay and moved to the Middle East when I was quite young, and then eventually, lived in the Middle East, worked with Italy, moved to the United States. So I'm kind of a little global.
Love it.
But I began my career in fashion. I've been in fashion for 28 years, and about little over a decade ago, I launched my own brand inspired by Audrey Hepburn. And 2 years ago, I created the Power of Words movement. I was asked to be the fashion event for the NBA All-Star Weekend and give back to mental health. And I realized at that point, mental health, especially post-COVID, this was in 2022, we needed a little more than a one-time fashion event to give back to mental health. And I created a movement because I believe fashion is a very powerful vehicle, and it has a voice, it opens doors, everyone can relate to fashion. It's everywhere, and decided to use my voice through the vehicle of fashion.
I love that. And so with the Power of Seven, how do you find fashion inspires and enhances that mental health support and that awareness around that?
Well, I started with the brand, the Power of Words brand, and the brand is really product. The words of role models, because role models use their vulnerabilities or speak about their vulnerabilities. They have an audience that they connect with. And the message behind that is really to show people you're not alone. If someone that's, accomplished and is a CEO of a company or is a really accomplished athlete talks about their vulnerabilities and how they've overcome them, it gives the audience or their fans an opportunity to realize that you're not alone and everyone goes through that, and how do we come together to overcome it. So I really launched the brand, but the purpose behind that was to take it to the next step and create impact, which is the Power of Seven. I picked 7 because it is a powerful number. It appears in every religion, in every culture. Everywhere I've presented it, in India, in the Middle East, in Europe, they all understand it. And it also relates to the chakras. Our body holds emotions, and we have the 7 chakras. And the Power of 7 is the 7 colors and the 7 words that tie to the chakras. It's actually a program for schools, universities, athletic teams, corporate teams, kids' ballet classes or a dance troupe. It's really about being able to communicate as a group where you're able to express your emotions and pay attention to the emotions of others. So there's 7 bands and everyone owns the 7 bands. And my message behind that is think about your day and what does your day hold in store for you. It's one day at a time. And our mind goes through so many emotions. The human mind actually goes through 2,400 emotions a day. And how do we focus on what we want to do with all the distractions we have. As a mother, I'm thinking about Philippe. Is he going to miss his bus? Is he on time? What's my meeting? What does he have for lunch? Have I made his, by the time you get to your desk, you've been through 300 emotions. So can you imagine kids that have all these distractions with Instagram and the things they need to do, and their friends and communicating and the texts? How do we get them to focus on what they actually need to do for the day? So it's about picking your emotion for the day, but it's about expressing yourself, but also paying attention to the community you're in and paying attention to their emotions. What is someone trying to say out loud? Today, I express empathy, and I believe magic is one of our words, one of the 7 words, because I want everyone to believe that you are magic. You walk the planet, you talk, you see, you jump, you love, you do it all, and you're the one and only kind of you in the world.
Yes.
So that's really the concept of the power of 7.
I love that. And so can you share the 7 words, or is that something that you can share with us, or that people can tap into more of how they could choose their word for tomorrow or even the rest of today?
Okay, absolutely. Magic is, I believe magic is one of the most powerful things. If you can believe your magic, the energy you put out is magnetic, especially if you try doing that in a confined space. I believe it works. And I say to kids, if you've done it once or twice and it hasn't worked, try it over and over again, because the minute you connect with that, or you connect with someone else, just from you feeling powerful, everything else falls into place. So we say magic, empathy, speak out and reach out is the third word. And then we have compassion, optimism. I tie it to the body, and warrior.
Oh, I love that. So powerful. Even just hearing those make me feel...
Resilience is one of the powerful words as well.
I love that. It's so incredible to think that words carry so much,
Yes.
I always think all we have in life is our integrity, and we are what we say, and our words are all we have. That's really our vehicle, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, you think about it. If you are able to focus on what you want to accomplish, and you have this reminder on, it's so simple, but so impactful. You're not just helping yourself, but you take, these are the principles of EQ, emotional intelligence, think about others, because we're so involved in what we're trying to do and accomplish on a daily basis, because most of us are struggling. It's not just self-indulgence. It's really struggling to cope with everything that's going on in your life, in your world, in your school. It's one way of bringing you back to, what do I really need to do today? And that's why we say it's one day at a time.
I love that. And I really appreciate that it's for all ages.
Yes.
That adults or, to children can really learn from that. And if that's like a life skill, is to be able to be aware, put others first, think of other people's connection to ourselves, and then, keep going through that and becoming more self-aware as we get to know our different emotions and get to know ourselves better, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. Think about it. You and I don't know each other, but we belong to different groups. And then I walk into the supermarket or walk into the airport, and I see you there and you're wearing optimism. I don't know you, but at least I'll have eye contact with you. We call it bands that bond you. Oh. So you can bond within a group, but you can also bond with a stranger. You can also communicate with a stranger. It could be a conversation starter.
I love that. And so where has that passion for mental health and advocating through fashion stemmed from?
Well, fashion's always been a part of my life. It's funny. My father said to me I needed to pick an intellectual career. He thought fashion was more of a hobby. And so I studied psychology, but then ended up doing 8 years of fashion after that, and then followed my passion. When it comes to mental well-being, 40 years of my life has been impacted by mental well-being. I've lived through the ups and downs and the movements of emotions. And when you have someone in the family or someone close to you that struggles with mental illness, especially in the old days, I think there wasn't much attention paid to postpartum depression. And it was treated as either bipolar or schizophrenia or something or the other. And it's how do you how was I able to ride that wave and live through? It comes with shame and so much attached to it as a child. And I found that if I was able to get through it, I'm sure I could help others. It's not just my passion; it's a mission. It's my purpose, and I know that we can create change through the movement.
Yes, I love that. And can you share a specific, impactful moment or memory where you've seen the power of words impact someone's life that's just really resonated or stood out to you as something you can remember? I know I'm sure you've had many of them, but is there one that really means a lot to you?
There are a couple that I talk about, and I'll talk specifically about the power of 7 and how it's impacted. In the beginning, we started this about 8 months ago before we actually launched it and did pilots. And I have a young child that I always talk about, 14-year-old, who's been an ambassador for the power of words. He was bullied as a child. And when he came on board with us, he started to practice the power of 7. He still wears his bands and still talks about them. And he said to me one day, he had a basketball game, so he wore warrior and empathy. And I said, that's fantastic. You were warrior for the game. And he said, yes. So I said, talk to me about empathy. And he said that he mentioned he's 6'1". He's the tallest kid on the team. He's only 14. And the team has really high expectations of him. And he said literally before he went onto the basketball court, he held on to his wrist and held on to his bands, knowing that he was going to be a warrior and work really hard at this game. And I asked him about empathy, and he said, in case I didn't do well, I wanted my team to know I was being a warrior, and I would have liked them to have empathy for me. So it works both ways. So we think about you wear warrior because you're fighting something and you're going into this game and you're going to be a warrior, but somebody else might be struggling with something and is trying to be a warrior. You can remind yourself to be empathetic, which is what I try to do, but you can also be asking for empathy. In this case, he was asking for empathy. He was asking for people to have empathy for him. And that's why I believe that when you practice this, if the team already knew what he was thinking, if there was a 2-minute discussion about each person wearing their words, you would be more compassionate for people you are around and understand that everyone's struggling with something or trying to achieve something or working hard at something. I think we'll all learn to be more empathetic.
I love that. So insightful, because I feel that so many times in life we assume, or we just, we judge, or we think from our own perspective and all our years of trauma, and we have that lens on that we're seeing that person's life because of our experiences. But really, do you find that sharing your words with your family or your loved ones in that day, or is there a way that you bring that in so that you're all aware of each other's words, or how would you practice that in a daily setting?
Well, I just wear my bands, and I hope that those around me, and a lot of the time I have people that I work with, and sometimes I walk into a mall and I see someone that I know that's wearing the bands, and, of course I stop them and go, I love that, first, to see them wearing it. And secondly, is there something you want to share? And I had someone I know, or I bumped into, said, well, I'm going into a meeting and I needed all of these. So that was amazing. Someone else wears it because he's trying to watch his diet. And said to me, every time he reaches out for food, he wears resilient. So it's a reminder to make the right choices and to resist, the bad choices or the unhealthy food. So there are so many ways you can use it. And yes, I hope that, when I'm struggling with something, somebody will pay attention. And if I slip up, either give me a helping hand or at least ask me. Because sometimes people are crying out for empathy or crying out for compassion. And we don't even see that. So I think it will make us more aware. The more we immerse ourselves in the program, I think we will be more aware. And especially think about, the young children these days with AI around the corner that maybe we need, and maybe it's too much for everyone. But if you have a chance to express what you're feeling on the inside, the struggles you have are easier to deal with when someone, like what did they say about, sorrows shared are sorrows halved?
True.
So
being able to, carry the load together. Yeah. I always think that, people what they do is either an act of love or a cry for love.
Yes.
And sometimes the cry for love seems against us or what we can't resonate with, but sometimes it's just that we've got to dig deeper and think, what are they trying to express, or what word could resonate, or what could we, see empathy instead, or, instead of, always thinking it's against us, think, well, how can we be for them?
Absolutely.
I love that. I feel that the world needs your message more than ever, though.
Thank you.
With AI coming, it's not emotive. It doesn't have emotion. It's the world will be up against that big, piece of movement, which is AI, and we have to remember these words so that we stay humanized and we hold space for ourselves to be human still.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the easiest way. It's so simple. It's such an easy way to communicate, if only we come together, because you've got to do this as a collective, and everything you do as a collective is much more powerful than trying to achieve something by yourself. We do have the therapist, we do have the apps, but what are we doing as a community to support each other and help our mental and emotional and social well-being?
Yes, so true. And how can people be a part of this movement?
Website is Power of Words, thepowerofwords.com. But if you go on Instagram and message us and say, I'd like to be an ambassador, I'd like to be part of the program you're doing, and we do events often. We also have activation through art. So when we do an event, typically we talk about the power of 7 and the 7 words and the 7 colors, and you pick your word and then you go in and talk about it. It's like a little mini podcast for a minute, talk about why you picked the word, and then you take that emotion that you're feeling, whether it's optimism or compassion or empathy, and you go to whatever art project we're doing and pick the color that resonates with the word and express yourself on the canvas or in clay or whatever it might be.
Oh, so good. I think creativity unlocks all the emotions, and we get back to that play like a kid, and
absolutely.
we can just have so much more fun and connection, I guess. So you're incredible. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I want everyone to go and follow and connect with Deborah. This is such a powerful movement and needed more than ever right now in the world. So if this resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe, and tag myself, tag Deborah, and let us see what you are creating in your life and what words you choose to tap into as you become more aware of yourself. So thank you, Deborah, and thank you for tuning in.